Now, we've been speaking quite a bit lately about what's going on with our environment. Now, I think, contrary to John Howard's belief, the human race is having an impact on the climate, and that's going to be very detrimental if we don't do anything about it right away. To talk to us about what we can do, and obviously moving into the future, what we can do about it, Climate Change Coalition, a new political party designed to inform and hopefully make some alterations on a national scale so that we can be leading the world in doing the right thing by our environment. I'd like to welcome along this morning, I've got to get them the right way around, Sarah and Gary. Right?
You got it right.
Good morning, guys. So, the Climate Change Coalition, I mean, we've heard and we've spoken to the Greens actually earlier in the week, and no Labor or Liberal yet, but we don't care about them. So what makes the Climate Change Coalition different to other political parties?
Well, we are new on the scene, and it actually arose only about 12 months ago in New South Wales for the state election there. And it really does comprise a diverse range of people who don't have any political affiliations. We don't have any political DNA in the blood. And we've got some interesting people who've come together who really wouldn't normally consider to be part of a crowd. People like Patrice Newell, who's the party leader in New South Wales, who's a biodynamic farmer. We've got Dr. Karl Kruszelnicki. I'm amazed I got that out right, but I've been practising.
Did well.
Who people will know from Triple J, the person who speaks really fast at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Hopefully we've got a photo of him. And, he's the person we roll out when we want someone to explain science in a way that people understand. We've got barristers, we've got lots of other farmers, and I come from a mining background, Sarah comes from a different background, so completely different perspectives, but what unites us is really our passion about doing something about climate change.
So not freaky tie-dye wearing tree huggers?
Well, not yet, no.
Really? Now, you admit that you're a one-platform party. Isn't your focus too narrow then?
Yeah, people do ask us a lot, why are we focusing just on climate change? And we are unashamedly focused on climate change because we think it is such a big issue that we need to fight. We see that despite the fact that the major parties talk about climate change and they have climate change policy, when you look at their actions don't actually support their words. So a classic example I look at is in this current election campaign, both major parties committed to $32 billion in tax cuts. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't have maybe given some tax cuts back. I don't think anybody was really asking for that, and they could have done so much good with that, and part of that could have been directed towards fighting climate change. And so, our focus is climate change. Our intention is to get into the Senate at a federal level and make sure that we keep the other parties focused on climate change, because if we don't stay focused, climate change will quickly overwhelm all of the other social issues that we have to deal with.
Well, there won't be any other issues, will there? Once it gets to the point we can't breathe anymore and so forth. But look, we actually spent quite a bit of time discussing with Peter Fitzpatrick, actually, and with Dr. Dingle, who's Perth's Dr. Karl, discussing the ramifications of climate change and exactly what it is. But now, Gary, we're speaking to a few people like from the Greens and things, and they come from didgeridoo playing backgrounds and so forth. You used to work for BHP Billiton.
Yes.
So obviously they're in the news today trying to take over Rio Tinto, but you took time off last year to be with the family. What on earth motivated you to get into politics?
Yeah, well, it's something I wasn't expecting to do up until relatively recently, but I'm a geologist, and geologists are naturally sceptical about climate change, and if you look at who most of the professional skeptics out there, a lot of them are geologists, and so I was definitely amongst them up until about 18 months ago. Once I started studying the more recent science, that really is what convinced me, and so I've been making change at a personal level since then. But then I started realising we had to start to make change at a political level as well, and I was really frustrated with the glacial pace of change of the major political parties, and I didn't think I spoke with a lot of people who were concerned about climate change and just didn't feel as though they had a voice. We do offer a different option to the Greens, for example, on the climate change debate. There's no doubt that the Greens have good policy on climate change, but there are people who would prefer to have a different option and still vote about climate change, and so that's why I ended up putting my hat in the ring and saying, okay, let's do something different.
Right. Now, Sarah, you've done something pretty remarkable. You've walked from Brisbane to Sydney to raise awareness about climate change. Tell us about that experience. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So basically I saw the film An Inconvenient Truth and realised that the impacts and effects of climate change would dictate what my life is going to look like in 20 years' time when I have my own children. And I think it really, really scared me, and I wanted to do as much as I can to get that message out there and to speak to other Australians about it. And I knew that I'd have to do something pretty big that would get people's attention to prove to people just how serious I think this issue is. So I decided to walk from Brisbane to Sydney, and it took me 9 weeks. It was 1,100 kilometres. I went through 4 pairs of shoes and spoke to thousands of people along the way. And
yeah, sorry, the pictures coming up on the screen there. You're walking around with what was the billboard thing you were carrying there?
yeah, so after I announced that I wanted to do the walk, I was invited to be an ambassador for Earth Hour, which was an initiative of WWF and the Sydney Morning Herald, where they got everybody in Sydney to turn their lights out for 1 hour to raise awareness of conserving energy, and I guess it was a way for Australians to say that we do care about climate change. So it was a fantastic experience, and after speaking to so many Australians about climate change, I really felt that I wanted to represent those views in the political process and ensure that we do have a future.
So what do you think that, that you will bring to politics then?
I think as a young person, I'm one of the key stakeholders in climate change, and I think that we really need to be a part of this process. We need to ensure that decisions are being made that are going to have long-term effects and to help try and prevent what's happening, but also to prepare for some of the implications that are predicted.
Haven't you guys done your research? If you want to go into politics, you have to have knee-jerk reactions, short-term results that get you elected. Don't make long-term changes.
And well-crafted sound bites.
Yes, and kiss a couple of babies and pat some dogs. Look, I'm going to move on in a second, but how realistic is it to actually get a Senate seat? I mean, I know a lot of people out there. Absolutely. Is it just a matter of making a bit of a noise so that the big parties pay attention, or do you reckon you can actually get in there?
Well, we want to do a bit of both. We do want to make some noise, so we want them to set up and take notice, and we're in it to win it. Now, the Senate polling, the Morgan Gallup Senate polling, is showing that there might be up to about a 30% vote away from the major parties in the at a Senate level, and that would mean there's potential for 2 minor party senators. There's 6 to be elected for Western Australia in the upcoming federal election. So we would like to be one of those, at least one of those senators representing climate change.
Very good. So how can people get in contact or find out more if they want to help?
Well, they can check out our website. It's www.climatechangecoalition.com.au. They can Google us and they'll find us pretty quickly on Google. There's a blog which is shown on the screen there. It's easy to get depressed about climate change. Just about every week there's something new and more depressing that's coming out there. The United Nations has said we're now on the brink of the 6th major global extinction event, which is pretty alarming. But there's some really good funny videos out there as well about climate change, and I think it's good to laugh sometimes. And so we've loaded some of those videos from YouTube on the blog. So if you're getting a bit depressed about climate change, go and check it out and have a laugh. Because we are optimistic. We think we can make a difference. We've got the technology available. There's some fantastic things going on, even here in Western Australia, and we just need change at a political level, and that's what we're all about.
Obviously, business is going to play a big part in this. Do you have problems approaching businesses saying, hey, the Triple C wants to come and see you?
We've avoided using the Triple C here in Western Australia, but maybe we could use it. But I see that as one of my roles. I come from a big business background, and I speak the language of big business. I know how they operate, and they are willing to talk. A lot of big businesses are doing some good things already, and so we just need to prod them and get them working even harder.
So if and when you get elected, now I'm going to put my hat in the ring here and say, look, it sounds like something people should definitely get behind. What are you hoping to, what's your main thing you want to achieve, Sarah, when you get into power?
I definitely want to get some legislation pushed through as soon as possible on climate change, setting renewable energy targets, etc. It's very important that we get started now.
My little push has been to get everyone onto LPG gas. LP gas? LPG. So especially like government vehicles, for example, that sort of thing. There are real concrete things we can do right now,
Most
aren't
definitely,
there?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people out there who want to take these options, but at the moment there aren't feasible subsidies in place, or also it's quite expensive. So the more people that can actually get out there and do these things, and the more government support we have for these initiatives, the cheaper and easier it's going to be for people to move to cleaner, more renewable technology.
The longer we're going to live as well.
A political party is actually talking about doing something now. Fantastic.
Yes, so we'll have all that information up on our website. Please get behind it. It's a serious issue and we're in desperate need of it really quickly. But wakeupwa.com, that's our website. Like I said, log on. Thank you very much for coming on and stressing that sort of view that is very important. We do need to go to a very, very quick break. We'll be back with more straight after this.
Best of luck, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.